Hey guys, so I wanted to talk about this idea of embracing what I call open faucet creativity. And this is actually something that I'm embodying right now because it's literally 3 something in the morning. I actually have to be kind of quiet because I've got neighbors right there. And I just woke up bursting with creativity and ideas and things I wanted to share. And I started scribbling them in my journal. And what I was going to do was get all the ideas down and then record it later. But I realized what would feel really good is just to actually get up and use this creative energy and actually make this video right in this moment instead of kind of trying to write it down and forcing myself to go to sleep because of these rules. So I'm embracing this open faucet creativity right now. And I gotta say, as I'm in the process of embracing it by creating this video, it feels really, really good. So I wanna talk about this. And on my own personal creative journey, it took me a long time to get here, to embracing open faucet creativity. And before I got here, it's funny actually, if I think about when I was a child, I think I already was embodying open faucet creativity. And maybe let me define that before I get deeper. What that means is it's kind of what you picture with an open faucet. You're just letting your creativity and your expression pour out of you. It's not about curation. It's not about perfection. It's not about outcomes or results. It's simply letting the expression come through you. Just opening your mouth and talking. Not over edited, not overly trimmed, not overly polished, none of that. Just open faucet, letting it pour out. It's kind of what I feel like I'm doing right now. But the other way that I used to do for a decade or more was this other version of creativity. So I kind of see that there's 2 ends of this spectrum, and obviously there's a spectrum in between. So on the one hand, it's the open faucet creativity. On the other hand, it's this less frequent, highly curated, highly edited, very polished kind of creativity. So these are 2 very, very, very different forms of creativity, and I don't want to suggest that either of these are inherently wrong or right, but I do want to share that on my creative journey, going from this highly curated, highly polished, high effort creativity. Oh wow, and my fridge just stopped buzzing and now I feel like I need to be more quiet. Moving from this version of creativity to open faucet creativity and really just letting it pour out has been a profound journey of healing, actually, of creative healing and releasing perfectionism and embracing authenticity. And not only that, but I used to think that in order to succeed as a creative, I had to do it the former way, the highly curated, perfectionist way. But I'm actually finding in my career that the open faucet creativity is having better results because I'm staying in action, I'm creating more, I'm consuming less. Yes, it's less polished and it's less perfect, but I'm still putting creative work into the world constantly, and that creative work is garnering results over time. So it's been super, super interesting of a journey. Now, again, it's complicated because I can't just make a blanket statement that you shouldn't do it this first way. Especially because I think for some people, and maybe even myself for a time, that was my craft. That was my creative outpouring. It was to get into the editing and tweak things around and make everything pop and make everything shine. That was the creative outpouring at the time. But I think what happened is I started to change my view on things, and I started to believe in a more authentic outpouring, and I was craving more of that authentic outpouring. And I wanted to let go of the editing. And this applies not only to my video creation, but also my writing. And interestingly, also just the way that I was moving about the world, the way that I was sending text messages, the way that I was speaking to people and speaking out loud. It's like, am I overthinking and kind of curating and tweaking what I say before I say it? Or am I embodying this open faucet where I'm just letting it all come out and not worrying about it and creating this thing, even if it's just a text message, and bringing it out into the world and letting it live there, results be damned. So you can see how this is related to like a larger journey of healing perfectionism and people pleasing, basically. Because if you just let your creativity pour out without controlling it, you might trigger someone. You might say something a little crazy. You might appear to be a certain way. And for those of us with people-pleasing tendencies, that's very, very tough. It's very, very tough. But I think it's worth it. So this channel for me is a big experiment, or it's me claiming this open faucet creativity. And practically speaking, what this means is instead of writing down my ideas and waiting for the perfect moment and waiting for my voice to not be raspy, which I really wish it wasn't, it's just putting my phone front-facing camera on a dinky tripod, 3:30 in the morning, quiet voice if I have to for the neighbors, plug my little mic in and just record it and let it rip. Whereas what I used to do is what I would have to do is write down the idea, put it in the system, come up with an outline, come up with bullet points, make it really concise, get the lighting perfect, get the camera and the sound perfect, film it and deliver it with the right energy, and then pass it off into an editing program and cut down all the pauses so it's as concise as possible and to optimize for watch time and engagement. Do the color correction, export it and perfect the title and the thumbnail for maximum click-through rate and engagement. And make sure I hit all the search engine optimization in the description. You see what a drag? Like, if, not to bash on anyone doing all those things, seriously. This is an individual thing, but if the purpose is just to express oneself, what a drag. I mean, those steps that I just described, that is an immensely time-consuming and energy-consuming process. And that's what I used to do for every single video. And I've been able to take that immensely time-consuming and energy-consuming process where I would literally be frustrated in that process because I wanted to let it go, but I was scared to let it go because of perfectionism. I've been able to condense that entire process into this phone's been recording for 10 minutes. The process of this video is going to take me 15 minutes tops. And then I can just go live my life. It's so freeing and so liberating to embrace this open faucet creativity. I'm self-employed, and one aspect of my business is creating content for brands. And I've actually also been able to take this philosophy into my work. You know, I thought that especially if I'm being paid for something, it has to be this glorious, perfect, highly curated, highly edited thing. But it turns out letting that go with my work as well has allowed me to produce more work with less frustration, less overthinking, more trust in my abilities, just letting it flow. And yes, it's like less polished, but in that less polished nature of the work, it gains something. It gains some flavor of authenticity. This content I'm creating for brands, it gains this authenticity that resonates in it. So it's lost this perfect polished look and it's gained something else. And to be able to accept more projects because of this letting go and embracing this open energy, it has literally benefited my career. I want to say tenfold. I think realistically right now I need to say threefold. It's like tripled the results that I'm seeing, maybe quadrupled. And I'm less stressed. And I'm less uptight every time I'm doing a client project. This has been an incredible shift for me. So if you work on something creative, but the thing is it's bigger than that because it's also just a way of moving through the world and interacting with the world. Are you highly curating everything you say and do and the way you act? Are you creating this perfect mask that you have to uphold in every moment? Or are you letting that crumble and fall to the ground and just embracing a fluid, open flow, honest, and expressive way of being? This has been quite the journey for me, and it continues to unfold, and this very channel is a great example of it for me. So I hope you found this interesting. Let me know your thoughts on this topic in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.